You're live.
Hi, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Thank you, Leo, for that little intro. Oh, my God. I want to welcome everybody to our show. Tonight is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. You know, Bill Goffey yesterday, he had his birthday a few days ago, and he said, my God, I don't even remember what year it was. And at first, my first thought was like, oh, come on. And then my second thought was like, he's absolutely right. We are so in other, like, because you and I have been working on our calendar, which is 2023, which is, oh my God, the calendar. Oh my God. And also, because we talk about 2020 so much, it's just like all these numbers are in my head all the time.
You said calendar.
Wow.
You said calendar, and now we just got to talk about November.
Mr. November in our 2022 calendar.
Hot cha-cha.
Peter Feliciano. Now, I have a disclaimer here. Peter Feliciano, I said to him, the reason I asked him to be in the calendar is because I had, there's Rena Crignali Bergie. Hi, Rena.
Hi, weather girl.
She's the first in. Let me just, hold on a second. Hold on. I want to pull this down because sometimes we get, Mandar has joined us. Mandar Chick Magnet has joined us as well. We get people coming in through different sites. Peter Feliciano. So is Mr. November. I said to him when I asked him to do it, because it was mostly my gay boys, and then Ron Bergie, of course, Rena's husband, who's Mr. February. And I don't think I had any more straight men. And I was like, Peter, I'd love for you to be in the calendar because he's got those big muscles and he's got tattoos. And I was like, let's do it.
It's hard to believe that we're twins, isn't it? That we share the same birthday.
You share the same birthday. Well, I can see that.
A year apart.
A year apart. Anyway, I said to him, yeah, it would be great. You know, I could use you in the calendar. And this is the picture that he sends me. And I go, Peter, who took that picture? He goes, my wife. I go, you are like the gayest calendar boy in the whole thing. And he's straight.
Wait till January, ladies and gentlemen, because we'll see how it runs in the family, let me tell you.
Well, the hotness. I know. But anyway.
Oh, my God.
So Peter Feliciano, he said to me, show that again, because it's hysterical. He's Mr. November in our calendar and I go, Peter, anyway, he goes, oh, I didn't realize. I thought you wanted me to gay it up. He thought I wanted him to gay it up. Anyway, apparently he did.
You won't tell me how he made the apron not fall.
Oh, my God.
He said tape.
I know. It's suspect. And Elaine took that picture. Now, Elena Ponte Feliciano is in our new calendar, 2023 calendar, which I don't happen to have with me right at this moment. And I don't want to give too much away.
No, we can't. We still have the December.
Yes, and we have to finish this year off. But I will say our calendar is smoking hot.
Oh yeah.
Last year's, this year was hot as hell. And and then listen, people always say to me, why don't you ask me? I don't even have to ask people. Leo doesn't have to. They come to us. They're like, I want to be in the calendar, and this is the month I want. I was like, okay. So already we have 3 or 4 people now, because I have Lauren Muffson wants to be in next year's calendar, as well as Bobby Belfry.
Oh my goodness!
I know. So they're already like talking about
and then Mel and Terry that we talked
Terry
about.
Gray. But I have other people already have approached me about the next year's calendar.
Look what started.
I know.
Look what started. Oh my goodness, Maria.
My friend Zach Nolan and his boyfriend Braley.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, they want to be in the calendar too. So the calendar has taken off. We're very excited about it. Let me just check in with who we have here.
Danielle.
So Danielle has joined us. Danielle is a spiritual advisor and medium. Danielle, we were just talking. Maybe you can help us with this. And we have to have Danielle on the show. Let's make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk this week, Danielle. So Danielle, Leo and I were talking about today is All Saints Day.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow is All Souls Day.
Mm-hmm.
And so for Catholics, those were really big deals, you know. And we were told that All Souls Day was the day where the earth shifted and people that had passed on could really visit and it was the most potent day. I've read that too, so I don't know. You're the spiritual advisor. Perhaps you can shed some light on that.
And along with Dios de los Muertos, which is today where people celebrate in the Latin culture, Mexican culture,
Yes, please tell us about that.
on the grave site and give it to grandma and grandpa and whatever Theo Billy liked, put a couple of tacos on there the Asians also Asian cultures also have their time when they commune with those that have passed on. So I think
Is it this time as well?
I don't know if it's this time as well, but I do know that they do have a celebration.
Okay, so Marie Sullivan Baca, who's my friend from high school, says, thank you, Marie. It's when the veil is thin. Thank you. I knew that. So I actually, one of my favorite books I was telling Leo, which is a gentleman from Massachusetts, Michael Patrick McDonald, wrote an amazing book called All Souls. And it's about South Boston. It's about the gun buyback program, but it's about his upbringing as a little Catholic boy in Boston. It's such a good book. So anyway, he talks about that. It's when the veil is thin. Thank you. And Danielle says, people all around the world have days like this, including Celts, Africans, etc. Yes, that's a great book. Okay, Marie, so you read it. I love that book. And it's a Boston guy, so I particularly love it. Okay, shout out to Stephen M. Abitable is watching. Lucas Ferdlin. Lucas, well, first of all, Lucas just did a ballet, a Mexicana ballet that looked beautiful. And I bet it had to do with Los Dias de los Muertos, right?
Yes, it did. They had the makeup and everything too.
Oh,
I didn't get to see it. I saw pictures.
Beautiful, Lucas. And Lucas is Mr. May in the 2023 calendar. Adorable. Adorable.
There is something to be said about ballet dancers and the muscular tone that they achieve from practicing their craft.
And their stretch and extensions. That's all I'm going to say.
I have to say, Baryshnikov.
Oh, my God. So Jane Immerman is watching. Suzanne Mason is watching. Joshua Glennie is watching. Joshua, I keep meaning to call you, but I've been so busy. But I have to come over. You have to help me get my Instagram back. He's gonna work with me and help us get our What's the Story with Maria Instagram back. He's
good. It's getting crazy.
It's getting crazy over there. Yeah, I had to change. We had to change our password also for our Facebook page because they tried to get into our Facebook page.
Maria, I'm gonna edit my name and I'll find out yours too. But all these three names are coming up, so I'm putting.
Okay, you got it. Andy Prasky's joined us. Andy Prasky is going to be with us next week.
Yay!
And I can't wait. And next week is going to be so tense that I'm going to need an Andy Prasky to distract me because next week is the November midterm election. I can't wait because I'm having a heart attack. Every day I feel like I'm having a heart attack.
Maria, what's your middle name?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
But anyway, Andy Prasky is watching. No, Tony Garcia is watching. Christina Ziza is watching. Actually, I can tell you. Of course, I can tell you. It's my real name. It's not a middle name. My real name is Maria Pia.
Oh, that's right.
Right. But sometimes people put it as a middle name. So, and I put them in the middle initial. It's just that when I was growing up, nobody could pronounce it.
I just, I want it to be like you mentioned. What's the author's name of the
Michael? Oh, right. Michael Patrick McDonald.
And we've got Sean Patrick Murtagh coming on. I just want to feel included.
Well, can I have Patrick as a middle name?
I guess so. Okay, I'll put it.
Let's all have a middle name as Patrick tonight. You're so silly.
One more.
Oh, leave it that way.
Like that. Leave it like that. One more shout out for November 1st is for my grandma Belen. Oh. Happy birthday, Grandma Belen. She's up in heaven. She's been there since 2006. But we used to celebrate her birthday on Halloween for many, many, many years. That's how we'd get together, the cousins, and we'd go trick-or-treating, and it was Grandma's birthday. Until she found out we got her birth certificate, and she found out she was actually born November 1st. And she was a couple of years older. But
I guess she was like a baseball player. A lot of those baseball players, they used to say they were younger so that they can play in the younger leagues, but they were really older. That used to happen a lot. I also want to shout out to my friend Chuck Santoro. It is his birthday today, and he is like a theme guy, and he always used to have these amazing theme birthdays. And his boyfriend, fiance, is Head Manuel Soto, who is Mr. February
Mm-hmm.
in our new. So Elaine Aponte Feliciano, Puerto Ricana, is our January girl. Head Manuel Soto, Puerto Ricano, is also our February guy. And then Justin Gregory Lopez, Mr. July, Puerto Ricano. So we have 3 delicious Puerto Ricans in the calendar. It's so hot. I can't even, guys,
Yeah,
we can't even show you the calendar because it's so hot. But we
We're
want you to think about ordering it. It's only $15. We don't make any profit off. It's literally to cover our costs for printing and mailing and all that. And if you want one, please either reach out to me via text or email at mariagentili.com, or Peter Feliciano is our Mr. November this year.
If you think this is hot, wait till 2023.
Wait till you see his wife in January. That's all I'm going to say. She's a January 1st baby. I know. So if you want a calendar, I know a lot of our people have ordered calendars already. Please reach out to me. They're $15. I will get it out to you. I'll mail it out to you. Or if you're local, I can deliver it to you. Okay? Or I'll bring them to the Duplex, Stonewall, and Brandy's when I work. I'll have them with me. Okay. That said, Joshua Glenny says I'm in. Joshua, I need you so badly. He's so sweet. I'm going to go over there. I'll bring you some sauce. Joshua will sit. We'll work this out. We'll figure it out. And don't worry, I'll take care of you. I promise. Okay. So tonight, my guest is someone that I've never met, which is rare. Usually I know my guests. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes people refer them to me. But this is someone that I've wanted to interview for so long, and we've tried to connect, but our schedules seemed to be very different, right? So, but I am delighted because he has a show coming up November 18th at the Green Room 42, and his voice is so beautiful. And
should we give him a little taste before we bring him on?
Yes, please, just play it.
I thought that maybe we can make you cry a little bit since you love this song.
It makes me cry, this music. It's the music of my childhood.
Vive un mare quanto bello, spirra tanto sentimento.
And in Italian, your favorite.
Oh my God. What the hell?
It's like a rich tenor voice, though. Just so.
Oh my God. I could listen to this all day.
Okay, no crying. We don't want to.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. You don't understand what his voice and what he's singing evokes in my memory as a kid. I was that Italian kid. Everything we did. I grew up in the north end of Boston. It doesn't get any more Italian than that. And Mario Lanza was constantly on our record player.
And he was a hottie.
You want to show a picture of Mario Lanza?
I want to show
you obviously
picture. Oh my God. I was doing my research.
Okay.
I was like,
he was a hot guy. He was a hot guy.
And to sing, I think "Be My Love." I have him as "Be My Love" is what I was listening to.
Beautiful, this is my beloved. My beloved is beautiful.
Yes.
Anyway, let's just bring him on so he can tell us. We're gushing over Sean Patrick Murtagh. Oh my God, Sean!
Hello! What an introduction!
We couldn't stop. I was like, let's bring him on so people can see that he actually exists.
all my three names together.
Well, that's why we all have 3 names tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it. Thank you for that introduction, especially because I know you've recorded an album, and when you're doing the edits and you're listening to yourself over and over, and you just kind of question your worth and why the hell did I start this?
I know.
So hearing the two of you say those nice things, I was like, oh, maybe I do got it, because the editing is the worst part.
You know what's? I agree with you. And actually, I worked with this amazing engineer called MP Kwao, and she's a local. She's from Taiwan originally, but she's just amazing. And so it was she and I the whole time, right? Because I produced it as well. But then when I worked with the person that mastered it, it was a totally different experience. And so, like what you just talked about, I felt like, I was questioning everything I did.
Yeah.
And but also I had some insight because he didn't know me. And then he said some things and I was like, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So I understand what you just said. But may I just continue to gush for a second here because it's
Please.
important. First of all, you and I have never met, although we run in the same circles. And the people that I know, you know, and it's so much in common, right? But I was listening because, of course, you have to interview someone. You have to listen and know what you're talking about. Sean, it is of another time, your voice. Like the age that you are and the songs that you are singing, and not just that, because lots of people do this stuff. These are classics, and I know lots of people that have been classically trained and will sing a classic from time to time. That is not it. You embody, and this is it. You channel ghosts of another time to me, for me, the listener. And I cannot thank you enough because these are the songs of my youth. My mother listened to this album and these albums over and over, and it just brought me so close to that. And I can't thank you enough. I just want to get that off my chest.
I want to thank you because, you know, that's one of the most interesting things, you know, when I did my first Mario Lanza show back in 2019, something I was not expecting or not, you know, aware was going to happen was people coming up to me. You know, nobody really talks about Mario Lanza, and he left such a huge impact. I mean, it's over 60 years after he died, and here's this kid. Well, I'm not a kid anymore.
No, but you
I'm
are.
100. I'm 105. You know,
well, then I'm 170. But,
but we look great.
We do, right? Yeah.
But you know, I never met him personally. Obviously, he wasn't, you know, a star when I was a child.
Right.
But his impact and the power of his voice and his artistry stayed with me. And so then, as I was working on the show and going around to open mics and all that, it was amazing the stories that people had. And they're like, oh, it makes me think of Sunday night in my nonna's kitchen.
Yes.
Or a lot of times when you know, loved ones pass on, and they said, you know, when we put our father in hospice, this is the only thing that would bring him peace, because he was having a hard time, and the only thing that would bring him peace in his final moments was listening to Mario Lanza.
Right.
Or somebody passed away and they go down to the basement, and you know, they didn't like listening to Mario Lanza as a kid, like, oh, I've got to hear it again, and then they go down to the basement and they find all these records, and it's like having a piece of their loved one with them. Right. And so when we do talk about him, people have memories.
Yes.
So I think it's very important. I realized that I was onto something.
Not just memories, but smells. All I smell is Sunday sauce when I hear that. And I actually cook a lot. So today I have 3 pots of sauce back there because I also, you know, make and sell sauce. But so when I was listening and cooking, I was like, oh my God, this is so. Leo, what are you showing us there? Mario Lanza.
Just fill my arms the way you filled my dreams, the dreams that you inspire with every sweet desire.
Okay, so now Leo, what you just showed was a movie, and that was Mario Lanza singing. But Sean, I really want everybody when we post it to seriously go and listen to Sean, either whether you're ordering, or people still do CDs these days, or not so much. It's mostly streaming, right?
I order them, so it's available for streaming on iTunes, on every platform. But I do have pardon me. I'm getting CDs.
Okay, when you do, will you please let me know, because I would like a few for Christmas gifts. No, I want to buy them because I believe in supporting artists, as I need people to support me. So you just have to sign them, and I'll send you who I need to sign to for Christmas presents. That's you. Okay, Leo, I'm glad you did that. So audience members, so that's Sean. Beautiful. So that first of all, as an Italian, I speak fluent Italian. Your diction is spectacular.
Thank you.
May I just say that? And you see, I'm glad Leo played Mario Lanza first, and then Sean Patrick Murtagh. And I got to tell you, Sean, I love Mario Lanza, but I actually like your voice a little bit better.
Oh goodness!
For
Oh
me, for me, it's just slightly brighter.
wow! Oh, well,
And
thank you.
It brings that tenor top that you have. It's just a little bit brighter than his, and maybe it was the recording of that time. Maybe the recording is better. I don't know, but I really, it's just beautiful. Let me just stop for a second because people have joined us. Janet Betta has joined us. Mel White has joined us. Bill Goffey has joined us, and he says Sean Patrick Murtagh is amazing. Yes, he is.
I love Bill.
I know. Isn't he great? And his birthday was a few
He's the
days
best.
ago. He is the best.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Bill. He's a Scorpio. Krista Piero, Alana Diaz is watching. Eudenia Mesa Dominguez. Hi, Poopa is watching. All the stars were out tonight. So Rena Crignali, my father. Okay, thank you. Rena's my cousin, by the way. So we had the same childhood. My father loved Mario Lanza. He would have loved Sean Patrick Murtagh. Well, Rena, you're one of the people that I am buying a CD for Christmas, unless you want to order it earlier. I understand. But I want to buy one for your mother as well. And for my dad, who will and then one for me. So 4, I'd like to put in an order for 4 CDs, sir.
You're my first order.
Beautiful. That makes, and you have to sign them. You have to sign them.
I will. Oh, I will.
Carlos Hernandez is watching as well. He's in Texas. So let me ask you now, Sean, how does a man with 3 beautiful Irish names discover Mario Lanza?
It's funny. My name is very Irish.
Yes.
My face is very Irish, but believe it or not, I'm actually only half Irish. I'm also Mexican and Salvadoran, so I'm half Latino, half Irish.
That's the dreamboat part there.
As 100, it's a very Catholic. It's a very Catholic.
Oh,
combo.
please! You are riddled with Catholicism.
Oh my! And the guilt.
We were talking about that today. Who was I talking to? That just I can't. I mean, who was I talking to about the Catholic guilt? But we have been talking about it a lot. It's been coming up. Because so many of us, I went to Catholic school for 10 years, but so that's where you heard. Did you hear it from the Mexican and Salvadorian, or who's playing Mario Lanza?
So actually, a voice teacher of mine in San Francisco, and he had such this big, gorgeous, booming voice. He did opera. He did tours. He was a Jean Valjean. He did all these amazing things, and he had a voice suited for everything. And he set up shop in San Francisco and started this academy. And one day, at some point, I became like his protege, and I would work for him in exchange for lessons. So I was his assistant. I, was his housekeeper. I ran his errands, did anything for a voice lesson. And one day we're singing, and he looked at me and he said, "Have you ever heard of Mario Lanza?"
How old were you?
I hadn't. I was 21 the first time I heard Mario Lanza.
Okay,
so
wow.
I had just graduated college and went back to San Francisco to continue working on my voice. And so he stopped the lesson and he put Mario Lanza on.
And what did you feel when you heard it?
Oh my God. I mean, you just, through your body, you just feel the energy.
Yep.
And he said, this is something you should be doing. This is the music you should be singing.
And what were you doing before that? What kind of music? Was it show tunes? Was it pop music? Was it classics and other type of class? Tell me what you were singing before that.
I bounced back and forth between the theater department and the music department because I felt like neither one really wanted me. They're like,
really?
You should really sing opera, and then opera's like, you should sing musical theater, and I was like, I just want to sing. So I did a little bit of everything, but I got my degree in theater, and then I went back, to continue working on my voice. And Richard did everything, and he would do. Besides individual private lessons, he would do these group lessons, and they were like 3-hour classes.
Wow.
And it was a vocal intensive, and we did Garcia Marchese technique. We sang through Vakai, which is like all the scales and everything. We did so much, so much breath work. And so we basically he wanted his students to learn everything. Like, you can't learn to belt if you don't know how to sing bel canto. You can't do this there has to be, you don't have to do everything, but you have to learn.
Right.
And so he told me that he goes, you need to start singing Mario Lanza. And he was pulling books off the shelf. And we started assembling all the songs that I need to sing, and it was something. And that's where I really learned to, like, you don't mimic people, you find what they're doing, what it does to you. Like, what is it? How do they get that sound? What you become? You become a
vessel.
Yeah, well, you investigate. You have to, like, you have to do diagnostics. Like, how are they doing this? And then also, how does this ring true for me?
Right.
How does this live in my body? Because I'm not the same tenor as Mario Lanza. I am a lyric tenor. I am an Irish tenor. We have two different voices.
Right.
But
I think build your, like, the shape of your body has a lot to do with the resonance of your voice. People don't always realize that. So you're built differently as well.
Yeah, and the most important thing is, you don't need to be the same singer as anyone. I listen to Grace Brumbry, who she's another one of my other classical singers that I just absolutely love, and she was a mezzo from she was a generation right after him. But it's really the impact that these people have on you, and how they make you want to become a better version of yourself.
I couldn't agree more. Just beautiful. I want to stop for a second. Also, Bridie O'Connor is watching. She and I went to junior high together. You talk about Irish. These girls I hung out with were Irish as Irish can be, and they're wonderful. And I have great memories with them. We went to St. Clement's together. So, but we were talking about that Catholic guilt, and Danielle says Catholic guilt rivals Jewish guilt for sure. What do you think, Leo?
Well, I was asking Maria, since I'm a Catholic boy, grew up in the Catholic Church. What was your saint? Like, who do they make you dress up for mass that you had to go up and sing or do the reading for? I was Joseph.
So for my confirmation, the saint name that I was a tenor. I wasn't the brightest, but I had a lot of heart. When it came time for confirmation, we had to choose saint names. I was like, I'm very proud of all my cultures, but even though I look Irish and everything about me says Irish, I grew up closer with my abuelita, and she was from El Salvador. Wow. So I grew up closer to that culture. And I was just like, I just want something. I want something that is outwardly says, oh yeah, you're Latino. And so I was like, oh, okay, so she was born in San Salvador. So I'll be San is Saint Salvador. So I do this, and I do all this, like, trying to make, and we have to do essays on our saints. And then I was like, oh yeah, the thing in Spanish is that San, Santo, all that also means holy. So San Salvador means holy savior. It doesn't mean Saint Salvador. So then I did like this fake report on a saint, and like just to try and get it to work. And I made it work, and they bought it. Because there's so many saints. What are they going to do? Go on Google? There was no Google back then.
Thank God there wasn't Google. Thank God.
So the bishop is calling out all the names, and everyone's getting up there, and it's like, Brian, Michael, Thomas, O'Flaherty, and all these names, and then he gets to Sean, Patrick, Salvador, Murtagh, and I was like, oh, my name doesn't have any flow, and it just stuck out like a sore thumb. But the saints, I actually have my velitas lit right now, my little saint candles. So I have one to Santa.
I noticed that.
And one to La Virgen Guadalupe.
So my confirmation name was Leo Ignacio Luke Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Oh, so you did the opposite.
Yeah, I did the opposite.
Isn't that funny? And you know what? Mine was Nicole, because my grandmother was my grandmother on my father's side was Nicolina, and I was supposed to be Nicolina, but then they changed it. But so I had to go with that. And I don't think there is a Santa Nicolina, but maybe there is. But that was after Nicholas, you know, San Nicola. So, but you know, I was telling Leo, because you know sometimes they'd make you dress as like your saint, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Saint Anthony was the big one in my house, but I never wanted to dress as a girl. Like I didn't want to dress as a female saint, or they all look like nuns and stuff. So you see what I mean? We could have changed costumes, Sean. We could have changed costumes. I didn't want to, so I would dress as Saint Rocco, you know. But and he was the one with the snakes coming, and there were. But I think my favorite saint, even though I should say Saint Anthony because it was my mom's, but I loved Saint Francis because of all the animals. He was really. I love the saints. Actually, I'm a big fan of all the saints.
First grade mass, I was Saint Joseph, and they bought me the beard, and they actually used Old Spirit gum and the hanger, and so I did the first reading. That was my
wow.
That's
Sean, what were you going to say?
A star was born.
I see that.
Do you still pray to Saint Anthony when you're looking for something?
Yeah. Oh, 100%, and it works. I actually in my kitchen have a like a little cornered shrine almost, because my mom loved Saint Anthony. So and my mom's passed away, so I have a picture of my mom, a few pictures of my mom, and then a statue of Saint Anthony, which an old roommate of mine did like a batine, it's called, so it looks like almost rusted, but really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Saint Anthony, and I do. When I lose things, I always my Jewish friends even pray to Saint Anthony. You know.
Yeah.
It works. I don't know what it is. It works.
And there's something for me that ties them. That like, even though I don't go to church and I wouldn't call myself I'm culturally Catholic. It ties me to my little viejitas, my abuelita and her sisters. Like, you know, because you couldn't leave the house without getting a bendición. You couldn't, like, they were so much of their faith. When my grandmother had breast cancer, and the doctor was like asking her, like, you know, we can take care of everything medically, we have a plan set for you. I would just want to make sure, like, do you need to talk to somebody? And she wasn't understanding what he was saying, and she's like, Dr. Who? And so he goes, you know, just because there might be things you're going through that, like, I couldn't help you with, if you need to talk about what you're going through. And she turns to my aunt and she goes, ¿Qué dice ese baboso? Which means, what is this idiot talking about? And my aunt's trying to explain, you know, Mom, there's, you know, emotional things, and maybe if you see somebody who can help you with your mental state. And she goes, el loquero, which means a crazy doctor. And she goes, no, thank you. I talk to God. And she really did. You know
what? Yes.
That brought her peace. She communed and she found her peace. And so she didn't need to go to a therapist. I support therapy.
Yeah.
But for her, what was right was her communion and her sense of that relationship.
I know.
That's a generation of people, I feel like.
Yep, absolutely. My mother was like that. My mother never forced anything on us, like in the sense of religion. We went to Catholic school. I actually loved all of that. What I hated was, as I got older, I realized the control of it and how they use it in they really waste it. You know, I always say, like, religion wastes God for me in so many ways, because they have the power to infuse our lives with spirituality. And they have these vehicles to do so. And so many times it's misused. And look, I'm not trying to knock religion, because if it brings you peace, wonderful. And I'm not judging, but I'm saying, for me, you know, for all of us as kids that were different, you know, that resounding God doesn't love you comes through. And that's not true. I don't feel that. I never felt that God didn't love me. I always felt God loved me. You know, so I understand. My mother too, even when she was really sick, she said, she talked about cancer, and she said, if God called me, I go. My cancer calls, not going to pick up the phone.
That's amazing.
That's what she said. And I believed her. So when my mom went, I knew that God had called her, you know, like let me just stop for a second, because we've gotten people are really talking now, which is so cool. Andy Prasky says, I was named after two apostles, Andrew and John. I believe that, Andy. Ed Kutu, my high school friend, says, Marie Baca, me too, talking about I'm a recovering Catholic. Marie Sullivan Baca says, Saint Teresa, the little flower, was the one of my family prayed to on behalf. I have a statue of her. Yep. And I got it at a flea market. She's old, but she needed a home. That's right. She was looking for you. Andy, I've always been fascinated with the sightings of the Blessed Mother Mary, like Fatima. I'm drawn to all the stories. Okay, so this is why this is so important. And Dee's posting a bunch of stuff. So read all Dee's stuff. It's so much. We could do a whole show about this. Remember, so many of these people are working from flawed translations and not leaving room for expansion, other perceptions, or growth. Yes. And I also do believe that it is the responsibility of those of us who do love the spirituality of what we grew up with as kids, which we got from our abuelas, from our nanas, from our moms, to show the world that we too are spiritual people, and that it doesn't have to be tainted with what politics puts on it, because it just ruins it for so many people, and it's so sad. Okay, let's get to your show, because we talk, we'll go off on that forever, which was wonderful, but I want to talk about your dates for your show. So go ahead, Sean, tell us about your show.
So the November 18th, right there. I love the sparkles.
Yes, Leo put those on.
I love that.
You are very sparkly.
I could just walk around with a cloud of sparkles. Probably get in my eye. November 18th at 7:00. That's also November 18th is when the album is officially released. So it's going to be just a fun party. These are very, weighty songs, and I can be a bit irreverent in my cabarets. So it's a nice balance, I just kind of go, I know what I want to say, but, I go with what the audience is feeling and how we're doing. So it's going to be just fun. And we're going to go through the album together, because for people watching who aren't aware, I did my debut in 2019, and it was Mario, A Salute to the Great Lanza. That was my very first New York City cabaret debut.
And you won an award for that.
I did. I won in lockdown. I won an award.
In lockdown, during COVID, you won the COVID award. You won the 2020
exactly.
MAC Award for Best Male Debut for Mario, A Salute to the Great Lanza. So
yeah,
that's a big deal.
It was very meaningful, because I was only going to do one show. I was trying to do a show for years. I took a class with Lenny Watts and Stephen Ray Watkins in 2013. And then it took to 2019, because I don't know what to do. Nobody's going to come, And I was all the pressure of how I introduced myself to the community.
Right.
And then one day, so Richard, who was my voice teacher, at one point, not getting into other people's businesses, but at one point we had a very big falling out, and life took us different ways. And, he did everything for me, for my voice. He was the one person that held my dreams in his hands. And unfortunately, his life was no longer a healthy one. So I had to leave. And I felt betrayed. I felt angry and upset. And I just held it against him. And I did away with everything he taught me. I didn't want anything to do with him, which means Mario, all of that.
Wow.
And then one day I'm at work and I have Spotify on, and something just tells me to listen to Mario.
Wow.
So I put Mario on, and this is going on for, a little over a week. And then all of a sudden, I hear Ave Maria, the Baku Node.
Gorgeous.
And right in the middle of it, I just burst into tears. Which, crying at music that's not original. But this was something. I was like, oh, why this is something's going on. And there was this huge shift, and I felt this release.
Right. Wow.
And I felt like it was time to let go. And I felt Richard, and I felt Mario, and it was this amazing experience. And I was like, oh, this is what Richard wants me to talk about.
Wow, that's intense.
And so that was the original show. And the audience didn't see it coming, because I was, talking about this and talking about that and cracking jokes. And then it got to the point where like, and here's how this happened. And
Yeah.
I went right into singing Ave Maria. And it's something when you have those moments, you know, you heal, but there's something that resonates in you, like that song, specifically that version of the Ave Maria, hits different now. Um,
Yeah.
and so then we went into lockdown. So that show happened,
Wow.
and someone's like, you need to do more. You need the community, the cabaret community needs to see you. So I did the shows I had to do, and they just took me in their arms, and they were so loving. And then we went into lockdown, and I was like, what am I going to do? You know, everyone was depressed, and then I won the award. I'm like, I'm a singer. I'm a
Yeah.
singer, and I have a responsibility. And so then I started doing bi-weekly
Absolutely.
shows, and I was doing living room concerts. And because you know everyone was talking about how they were working from home with their pants off
Yeah.
and how fun it
We all
was.
did it. We all did it. I mean,
Well,
a lot of us did. I did.
so I didn't have that option. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do a concert with my pants off. So I did a pantsless living room concert series for the first part of the pandemic.
Oh my
And
God.
every 2 weeks it was a brand new show, and I did a cocktail tutorial because everyone was making cocktails. So a different drink on theme, different sets. I did one about, you know, it was strong Latina influence, and that was about my heritage. I did one for my Irish side. I did one of all the callback materials that I've had.
Wow.
The box of callback stuff that I had and never booked. I was like, I paid a lot of money to get the tracks made to learn
Right.
these things. So I ended up just doing a show of all the roles I didn't book. And it was
That's
just,
amazing.
it was fun. And then we were coming out of the pandemic, but we weren't. Clubs were still closed. And so I finished off the first year of the pandemic and ended the pantsless one because I'm like, we're kind of going back to normal. And I had planned on doing a centennial concert for Mario. It was, you know, 2021 was his centennial, but nothing was open. So
Right.
then I decided to do a concert series in my living room with pants on because you know I respect the man.
We have to put the pants back on.
Because
That's
we
what
got to put
happened.
for Mario Lanza, you know.
Yeah.
And so I did over the course of a year. I learned and presented 100 songs from his songbook, that isn't even scratching the surface. I mean, the man recorded
Wow.
everything, and it really. I mean, he recorded opera, he recorded Neapolitan, he recorded Broadway standards, he recorded American
Yeah.
standards. He did everything. And it was such an experience, and it was a bit overwhelming, like learning 100 songs in 12 months. I mean, I couldn't even really get into the songs at one point because it's 4 weeks and I sing them and then I'm done and I'm on to the next stuff. And
Yeah.
you know, you
Yeah.
never let things to like sit. And so at the end of it, my brain was just fried. Oh, and at that time, I was transitioning back up to being a tenor. I had spent 10 years singing as a baritone, and
Wow.
so
Mm.
over the course of doing this 100 concert series, I was transitioning back up to a tenor, and my brain was just like ah. And so then we get into 2022, and I took 3 months off from singing like that, and just took 3 months off. And then I realized like this is not done. I need to capture this. That was a lot of work. That was a
Mm.
huge commitment.
Right.
Um, and I really need to put the bow on this
Yeah.
tribute to Mario Lanza. And so I realized like it's time to do an album.
That's
And
great.
so that's how the album was born. So then it was the 101. It's his 101st birthday, but it's also the Mario
Mario
101. Like
101. Yeah, I love that.
here's your class.
I
Put
love
pencils
it.
down.
Leo, can you do you mind popping that cover of the album cover
Mhm.
so we can see what it looks like again? So when people see it, they want to order it. Now you can also stream it. And Sean, tell them where they can stream it.
They can stream it. It's going to be available on Spotify. It's going to be available on Amazon, iTunes, wherever
Apple
you
Music.
listen. Apple Music, all of that.
Okay,
So this
great.
is actually the graphic for the. There we go. This is the album cover, and I got to tell you, do you know who Robbie Roselle is?
No, but
He's
I love the
oh,
old-fashioned album
he's
cover.
He's brilliant. So this was all done via text. When he was like,
Wow.
when I finished the album, he was like, okay, let's start talking about what you want the album to look like. And I said, something retro, and I sent him a few images of Mario album covers, and an hour later he gave me the mock version of this, and I was
So
like,
good.
you got me, like, because you can see there's like a little worn area to like where the disc would be if it was an actual record.
Oh
It's distressed.
yeah, that is so cool. I just noticed that it looks like an old album that I would have in my dad's record collection.
Yeah, so it was really amazing, and he actually works for Broadway Records, and he's a very dear friend of mine.
Great.
And I said, I'm not gonna put you to like ask you to produce my record, because I know that like you got Broadway stars you need to take care of, but I would like your help. And he basically produced my record. Like,
wow.
It's not under Broadway Records, but it's through him, and he held my hand the entire way. And it's just like, your community, when they show up for you,
They show up
overwhelming.
because I think that look, we're not in this for the money. There's not a lot of money to be made. You can make money, but I'm saying that's not why we're in it. So we're in it because of our passion for it. And what you'll find when you're out there doing what you love is the other people that are attracted to you are people that also love what they are doing. So it's this mutual admiration, this group of people that have passion for what they do and respect. We do have to take a break for a second because I have to do the food section of our show.
Oh, perfect.
I have a food section of our show. I don't know if you know that, Sean, but it's called Go Ahead, Keep Eating, where I cook. I am Italian. I can't help it. All right. So you have to help me. On the count of three, everybody, 1, 2, 3, and then we all say, go ahead, keep eating. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Go ahead.
Keep eating. Okay, so what did I make tonight? I'm speaking of transitioning. I'm trying to transition back into my keto diet. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I know. But I'm getting the factor again tomorrow. It starts again tomorrow. So tonight I made shrimp delicious. Let me have to read it because I put so much stuff in my food that I forget what I put in there. Okay, so shrimp with green curry, ginger, sesame oil, garlic, and twisted pepper jelly. Leo.
Ooh.
I know. From our friend makes these amazing jams and jellies.
Perfect jams.
Ken's Perfect Jams. And I bought a twisted pepper jelly, which is like a spicy hot jelly. And so I put that in there, and it's over cauliflower rice as I'm transitioning back to the keto, but not completely. You'll see my dessert is still in the bad part of my diet. So that's that. And then for my salad, I always have a salad. Tonight I have romaine lettuce, English cucumber, carrots, celery, pepper jack cheese.
Okay.
Yeah. Pepper jack cheese, extra virgin olive oil, and I put some honey on this to make it sweeter. And I'm putting a cranberry pear vinegar from the Boston Olive Oil Company. And then for dessert, are you ready, Leo? This is going to be bad. Hold on.
It's going to kill me. I know it.
But then tomorrow I'm going back on the diet. Last day of eating crazy desserts, cinnamon buns.
Oh,
look at that. I know, with frosting.
Delicious.
I just love them. They're kind of like my weakness. It's bad. And but what I do is I just cut the tops off now and just eat the tops. I don't know if that helps, but in my brain, I feel like I'm doing better.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. So that's what I'm having for dinner. Okay. Another thing I want to do, we have 10 minutes left, but we usually leave them with some inspiring words. And I
have
do
questions.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Questions. You're from California, Sean?
I am.
What part?
So right outside of San Francisco in San Bruno, right where the airport is.
Okay. I went to Cal State Hayward. And graduated from there before I came and was there in Bay Area, living in Berkeley by Ashby Bart before I moved out here. Second question, how is it working with Yaz? How do you like working with Yaz?
So he's a one-stop shop. He was my music director. He engineered. He did the mixing. He did the mastering. And if you worked with him and there's a computer nearby, he is like a kid in a candy store. He loves explaining to you how everything is going, and he actually got a new recording booth right
Oh my goodness.
when we were doing this. And so for the entire summer, nobody was allowed to use the booth except for me. And so it was
Oh,
and I didn't ask that of him. And he just was like, this is your booth. When we're done with this album, other people can use it. And it was, I felt very special. But you know, he's so easy to get along with. He's so easy to work
Well,
with.
Leo, you have history with Yaz.
yeah. Yeah, the musical that I wrote and produced and put up, Yaz was one of my first accompaniments, along with Bill Goffey,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
in that circle, and probably a lot of other people that were in the cast that you probably know, called Broken Moments, and he was my accompanist and director, and fun to work with, to be around,
Yeah.
to watch his family grow is amazing, and him
Yeah.
grow from that to now he's just all over the place. And
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I
He,
actually had the luxury of working with him for the MAC Awards this year. I was part of it. Was just 5 of us that did the opening number. I think it was the opening number, or it was the Piano Bar Girl number, and he was
Mhm.
the musical director. He's
oh,
amazing.
yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that was great. And that was you, Tara, Anna.
Me,
It was like all,
Tara, Liz Lark Brown, T-Rex, and Anna Anderson.
yeah, that was
It was
great.
fun.
That was so
I
much
need a
fun.
hero. Yeah, it was really fun. And Yaz was the musical director for it. He was so great,
Yeah.
you
You
know.
know, the
And
one thing I have to say about that night
yeah,
is it was like to My Fair Ladies. It was like 4 hours of award show.
always though. They're always most of the time I can't go because I work and I just happen to be off, and I'm like, okay. And they asked me to be in it, and I was like, oh, but they're
Yeah.
long. Those shows are
But you
long.
know, because we were in masks, and it
Mhm.
was like
Right,
it was the
right.
temperature had jumped to 70.
Yeah,
So there wasn't like really like air circulation for
yeah.
what was needed. So we're in masks, we're in suits, and I'm just like, and my category was like
Last, right?
almost last. It was
Yeah.
towards the end, and I was like, if I win, I don't know that I I will be able to get on stage. Like I am about to pass out.
Oh my.
Yeah,
And there was
yeah.
we couldn't get water, so it was like 4 hours. I was just like,
Well, listen, that's part of the initiation of cabaret.
yeah.
No water. That's it.
Sean
Just
Maria
suck it up,
broadcast
Sean.
that night. She was backstage broadcasting at the same
Oh,
time, right before
right.
she did her number.
Oh my God, I
Oh,
should
that's
send you. You know what? I'll
hilarious.
send it to you. Yeah, because it was a Tuesday, and I was like, what am I going to do? So I said, Leo, I don't know if there's even Wi-Fi there, but why don't you do the show, and I will pop in as kind of like girl on the job or something. And Karen Mack, who I
Right.
just adore.
I love her.
I know when we went on stage, she held the I did it from my phone. It was crazy.
It was live. It was
It's
real. It
live,
was
yeah.
fun.
So actually, you know what? Just for laughs, I'll send it to you in Facebook Messenger when I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
I would love that.
It's really funny. But okay, I do want to before we come to the and say what we want to Joshua Glennie said, when you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life. I couldn't agree more, my love.
Amen.
And Marie Baca says, in my next life, I want to come back as an Italian, the best food. You know what? St. Anthony, we'll pray to St. Anthony that you come back as an Italian, Marie. Okay, so I want to read something because we usually talk about voting on this show, and we're running really low on time, but we want to remind everybody to vote. It has never been, I know it's only the midterms. This is so important. The structure of our whole government really is depending on these pieces, and a lot of them could shift either way. And we really, really, really need to vote blue. And if you're offended by that, whatever, have your feelings about it. But I can't, usually I'm like, do your thing. But thank you, Leo voted.
Get out and do it.
Get out and do it. This are all our rights as women, as gay people, as artists, as everything. I mean, people that take prescription drugs and need them to stay lowered. They just passed the so many bills have been passed that are not getting play because people are trying to squash it. What's happening in Wisconsin, where they gerrymandered so many districts very, very dangerous territory.
We got to put
Yeah.
that in perspective too, and I don't think they're doing it. We put bills forward that
We put so many bills
Republicans
forward.
denied. So we whittled and we chopped and we maneuvered and we did, and I'm sure that they asked for more than they thought they were ever going to get.
Right,
But
right,
then it finally came through because we
right,
finally found a way to pass it through because we were being blocked. So if you want those people who kept blocking your benefits,
right. So
then
many benefits. I mean,
Yeah.
and even like the Florida, all the Florida people voted against any kind of hurricane relief. Not one Republican voted for it. And yet their states need it. Also, I'm really tired of people talking about crime, crime, crime. Their states have more crime and murder than ours. But I'm not even going to get on that. What I want to
according to
talk
reports, crime is down by 4% across the United States of America.
Yes, I know. But this is what I want to talk about. When I'm on stage and I work at 3 different nightclubs, so I get the opportunity to talk to people all the time, 4 nights a week. I always talk to about voting, and I talk to young people, and I say, I know a lot of people think that you're not going to come through, but I believe in you. And if your age group, which only 31% of you voted last time, if your age group comes through, we're going to crush this thing. So this young girl that I met, I was working at the Stonewall Inn that night. She is a sweet little girl from San Antonio, Texas. And she wrote to me on Facebook, and I just want to read the post because it just moved me. And I thought this is the way I kind of want to leave the show about voting and just inspiring people. She wrote, while I was in New York last month, we stopped at Stonewall Inn and met an inspiration. She went up to sing and used her platform to speak up for change and encourage us to vote. She said how upsetting it was for her to know that her nieces have less rights than she did. And I related instantly. Anyone who knows me knows my sobrinos, which I think are nieces, right, are my world. And I use the exact same reasoning when I say I need to vote. I need to vote. In trying to get my generation to vote, I use similar examples. If you have a daughter, if you have a niece, you have to speak up. The hell with religion. It has nothing to do with that. It's your right as a human being. Regardless of how they got there or what your religion says, you should vote. I sat at a bar and we talked like I've known her for years. Thank you, Maria Gentili, for using your platform and encouraging change. I knew that I, a nobody from Texas, would run into you in New York and make a friend I would want to keep. And for that, it's worth my friends. Anyway, then she goes on to say that her friends had to drag her out because she could have stayed for hours. Thank you. And here's a picture of me. She posted a picture of her that she had voted because I requested. I said, you Facebook friend me, and when you vote, you send me a picture. And this moved me so much. It's not a pat on the back for me. It's just a pat on the back for anybody that encourages others to vote. And, she was saying the same thing we're talking about. She came from a very religious family, and yet she felt so squashed by what's happening in Texas. And so all of us, if we could separate all that guilt and just come from a place of love, place of what God wants us to do, and God wants us to take care of each other. The way to do that right now is to get out and vote for your rights and the rights of your family and friends. So I just want to put the plug in that you can early vote in almost every state right now, and you can vote on that day, November 8th, which is a week from tonight. Sean, I'm going to call upon you to leave our audience with something inspirational about your art and being creative. Anything you want, honey.
Anything I want about art and being creative. I guess I just would kind of go back to what we mentioned earlier about when you do something that you're truly passionate about and it resonates with you. Do it because it feels good, but it's also in service to other people. You have a bigger impact than you know, and it's not about getting to 50,000 people. If you get to one person, like Maria just said, about getting that one person to share that they voted and to share their opinions, continue to, and when it resonates with you, you have to trust that it will resonate with other people, and that will continue. That's the ripple that goes on. So continue making music, whatever your voice is. Continue saying beautiful things, speak all that into existence, create it into existence through your art, and we really can make a better world.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you, Sean Patrick Murtagh. What a great hour this has been, sharing all these wonderful thoughts and energies with you. You're a beautiful person. I hope we get to meet. And November 18th, what night does that fall on, Sean?
It's a Friday night at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
And you know what? Everyone who's watching, save your stickers. If you bring a sticker to the show that you voted, or you can show me on your phone that you voted, because, you know, especially as a gay man, if we vote, we have to post a selfie.
Of course.
Right.
If we wake up before the alarm clock, we have to post a selfie. So show me your selfie that night, and I will give you a CD for free.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Are you kidding me? That's incredible. All right, sweetheart. So everybody go see Sean. He's at the Green Room 42, November 18th at 7 p.m. It's a Friday, the Mario 101. So thank you, Sean, for taking the time to come see us. Leo, I would be lost without you. Everybody, please come back every Tuesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, which is 6 to 7 on the West Coast. And don't forget to vote. And if you do vote and you care to leave me a picture on my page, please do it. I'll be so happy. We love and appreciate you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.